All right, so yesterday we talked about value and using value by creating a value scale, using our palette, and by blending a value scale on our sheet. We then use that value scale to create a three-dimensional effect on our sphere. If you remember back to watercolor, we also learned that to create value, we can use something called intensity. So if I think about a color's intensity, I need to think about a color's complementary color. So if I look here at a color wheel, I am going to be using orange and blue today, and they are complementary colors. Complementary colors are colors that are directly across from one another on the color wheel. So you'll find at the paint station today, there has been an orange added, a purple added, and a green added so that you have a complementary color for any of the three primary colors. So today you're going to either use a combination of red and green, orange and blue, or yellow and purple to create your work. Because remember, if we think back to watercolor, complementary colors often ends up being the better way to create value in your painting. So I am going to go ahead and just paint this end here blue. And you will see that it says then to add white. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of my blue. I'm gonna put it out here on my palette. I'm gonna grab a little bit of white to lighten it up. And then it says to add more white. So I'm going to grab a little bit more white. Actually just mixing the blue that was in my paintbrush now, so that I have a lighter and lighter version of the blue that's here. The reason we're gonna do that is for you to be able to see when we get into these kind of dark neutral tones, what colors you're making. Because remember, complementary colors will make browns and grays and other dark neutrals. And so because the colors are gonna get darker, it will be hard to see what color that they are. So what I'm gonna do now is the same process, but I'm going to take my complementary color, which is orange, and right here, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this blue, I'm gonna move it out here. I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of orange to mix into this blue. And we want this to go really gradually. So I have over added orange. So I'm gonna go ahead and move to a different pile. There we go, that's better. I'm gonna be able to use that pile in a minute. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint, and you'll see that indeed my blue did get darker because of that little bit of orange that I added in. I now can add just a little bit of white to this pile. And paint this new color here. Oops. A little bit of extra orange in my paintbrush. And a little bit more white. Here, so that I can see another lighter version of that darker blue. So you can really see that my blue got darker or duller as I've added the white to the color. All right, next, I am still thinking that might be too dark, so I'm just gonna grab a little bit of extra blue. Remember, I want my steps to go kind of gradually, and that feels a little too dark. All right, let's see. Still a little too dark. Maybe that's better. So I want these first few to still feel blue. So So I don't want it to be black yet. I don't want it to be brown yet. I want it to still feel blue. So I don't want it to get too dark too fast. I'm going to go ahead and add, just like before, a little bit of white. Just so I can start to see the color that I'm making. And then again, a little bit more white. These feel fairly similar. This next one, let's see, I'm gonna take and just add a little more orange to this same little pile here. And you see that it's gonna get darker. It's still a bit blue, but it is a darker, kind of more neutralized blue than the last blue. I am gonna add a little bit of white so that I can start to see. Not too much white, actually. See that it is graying out. You can see that I'm starting to make a gray color instead of having it be blue. Need a little bit more white. Just gonna use the color that's on my brush for this lighter one. This central color now is going to be either black or gray or brownish. So it's going to get one step more neutral than before. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a little pile of both colors. And it looks like I'm going to make kind of a greenish brown with these two. So that is going to be my central color. And again, it's really hard to see what color I'm making when it's this dark. So it is why we go ahead and grab a little white and kind of investigate what color is this when it has a little white in it. And a little bit more white. I then am going to start over on the opposite side of my intensity scale using the opposite color. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my orange or paint my orange. You'll see orange is really light like yellow. So 2 coats is gonna be needed to cover my words. I would add white then while I still have just orange. Then I'm gonna take my orange and I'm just gonna add the tiniest bit of blue because the orange is gonna change very fast. And we want gradual steps. So here is my next orange color. I'm gonna go ahead and lighten that up with white 2 times, the same as I did with my darker blue color. And then going to continue working my way towards the center there, where my orange is going to gradually get more of that kind of greenish gray tone as I move towards the middle of my paper. So here's the 2 lighter versions of that same color. So go ahead today and complete your intensity scale using a complementary color pair.